Rhiannon Jones and welcome to Showcase, where we bring you all the biggest and best news in art, culture, style and entertainment from here in London to Istanbul and across the world. Coming up on this week's show, we chat all things time travel with the stars of Back to the Future, the musical, the global multi-award-winning show breaking box office records, which has now been watched by 1.6 million people and counting. Best-selling author and poet Donna Ashworth joins us here in the studio to talk about her latest collection of heartfelt and powerful poems to the women. We take an Infocus look at a new exhibition in Istanbul that promises to be a treasure trove for book lovers. Plus, all our top stories from the world of entertainment news in this week's Snapshot Roundup. To kick things off though, let's travel back in time for this week's hot ticket to 1985, when smash hit movie Back to the Future was first released. Starring the timeless Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly finds himself transported back to 1955 in a time machine built by eccentric scientist Doc Brown. Whilst there, he accidentally changes the course of history and ends up in a race against time to fix his present. Jump 4 years into the future to 1989, Marty and Doc go forward in time for the time travel sequel. Then we jump 1 year on from that to 1990, only to find ourselves jumping straight back to 1885 and the Wild West for Back to the Future Part 3. Confused yet? Well then, we travel 35 years on, or 135 years depending on which timeline you're working from that first movie to Back to the Future, the musical. Released to rave reviews here in London, breaking box office records, it's now gone global, and I couldn't wait to catch up with its stars and meet the world's most famous time travel machine, the DeLorean. Well, Vashkul, Corey, this is really exciting. Not only are we on stage, but we're by the DeLorean. Thank you so much for having us here, just hours before you go on stage.
No problem, our pleasure.
Exactly what he said.
Our playground right here.
80s movie Back to the Future. It's one of the most loved movies of all time, I think it's fair to say. How close to the movie is the musical, and why is the musical proving to be so popular?
I think the musical is quite close to the movie, like almost one-to-one, apart from obviously music. And then there are some adaptations that, just some things can't be done on stage, and some things, just were updated for the times we live in now. But at its heart, it's just a really great homage to the original movies, I would say so.
I was 17 when the movie came out, and I was a huge Michael J. Fox fan. So I went to the theater in 1985. Just loving, I couldn't wait to see Michael J. Fox and the whole thing. And the excitement around the movie then is pretty much the same.
How easy was it turning it from a movie into a musical?
You have all the original creatives from the film to do it. So Silvestri with the music, all the music from the film is in there. Bob Gale, who knows this story inside and out, knew what it was going to take to do it on stage. So in my opinion, I think it lent itself quite easily because of the music from the film and the heightened reality of the film. It suited the stage very well.
Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Johnny, be good.
You say, Vashkul, that there are some things that you can't do on stage that were in the film, but my goodness, you're certainly trying, because we're in front of the DeLorean here. How do you make a time-traveling car fly within the constraints of a theater?
I mean, I don't know how they do it. We just have an amazing, special effects team and automation team that just makes it seem like it's real every day. I mean, I'm in that car and I don't know what's happening. I just feel like I'm driving it, honestly.
Let's talk about your part, Vashko, because this is your West End and professional debut. I mean, what a part to land as your first, but presumably quite daunting too, because you are playing Michael J. Fox. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is such an iconic part. You know, Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox. It was such a big, as Corey said, like a big staple of the 80s, and it still rings through nowadays. And yeah, of course it was intimidating at first. It is such an iconic part, and even in the musical, there's such a large fan base, and people, you know, they know what the part is like. The songs are big, monstrous vocal songs, and there was a part of me that was afraid, but I was mostly just excited to get to, you know, put my own spin on it as well. And it has been just so amazing to get to do it every night, and you know, just play with Corey on stage and everyone else. It's amazing.
And Corey, you're playing Doc Brown. Did you prepare for that by getting in touch with Christopher Lloyd?
I would have loved to have done that. He didn't pick up for some reason.
Has he seen the show?
He has seen the show here early on,
Yeah.
and I think he went to Broadway as well.
And Michael J. Fox.
He may have gone to Broadway on the opening there, but I'm not sure.
Brilliant. You'd
Yeah.
hope so, wouldn't you?
so, yeah.
You'd
I
hope
would,
so, yeah.
You did, yeah.
I'm sure they both have. Back to the fans in the audience, those that are the diehard fans that have come back again and again and again, 18 times, some of them, if not more.
More
Have you
We're talking
had-
50
yeah?
to 80.
Yeah.
I have a friend now that saw it before I even got in it. He saw it 45 times before I came in it, and now I'm his friend. He's come another 50 times.
Oh, that's such a good friend. I love that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's quite obsessive.
And he's not even the top guy anymore. I mean, people have seen it over 100 times.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And I see him in the front row. I mean, I have to say, they're almost my friends now.
Yeah,
Walk
I'm
out
sure.
the door, hey, what's up? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like a fellow work colleague.
Sometimes they say the lines before you do. It's happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh,
happened like a couple of times before.
They're the ones that 1.21 gigawatts. Ah! You know, they get to
Yeah.
say it.
Are you enjoying playing a mad inventor, Corey?
Hell yes.
Right, Corey, we're going to play a quick game, a time travel game. Please, can you say as many Doc Brown catchphrases as you can in 10 seconds starting now?
1.21 gigawatts. Plutonium? Well, in 1985, I'm sure plutonium is available in every corner drugstore. But in 1955, it's a little hard to come by. Great Scott!
Vashko, Corey, it's been an absolute pleasure. I feel very privileged to be here on your stage and in front of the DeLorean, and I better let you go because you've got a show to prepare for, but thank you. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Spectacular, fun, and an absolute must-see. And in honour of Back to the Future, the musical, we thought we'd take a look back or forward to our top 5 time travel movies of literally all time. At number 5, Interstellar, with a simple but pretty big ethical question at its core. Would you try and save the world if it meant missing out on your children's entire lives? Well, it's one Matthew McConaughey faces in this sci-fi hit where every hour he spends on a distant planet is equivalent to 7 years here on Earth. At number 4, it's Hot Tub Time Machine, a full comedic take on the genre, complete with enchanted hot tub which doubles up as it bubbles up as, you've guessed it, a time machine, sending John Cusack and his pals back to the 1980s. Fun and foam aplenty. At number 3, Planet of the Apes. Now, if you haven't seen this Charlton Heston classic, well, including it on this list of time travel films does serve as rather a big spoiler to the twist at the end. Sorry about that. But this ape-based blockbuster, along with its many spin-offs and remakes, is worth giving a little time to. In at number 2, it's The Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger did famously say, "I'll be back," and as promised, he was for the second and arguably better film, Judgment Day. But it's the first action-packed, leather-clad classic that's much more of a take on time travel and so holds its place on our list. But hasta la vista, baby, to The Terminator, because, great Scott, Who could possibly have clinched the top spot? Well, let's head back over to our time-travelling experts, Marty McFly and Doc Brown.
Well, it's gotta be us in Back to the Future!
The ultimate time traveling movie of all time.
Thanks again to the fabulous Vashku and Corey there. So, there you have it, our top 5 time-travelling movies of all time. But do you agree? I guess only time will tell. To Infocus now with a look at a brand new exhibition in Istanbul celebrating the intersection of art, literature, history and cinema. The story unfolds.
Step into the Meşar Gallery on the iconic Istiklal Street and you'll find a sign that reads, "The characters and events depicted in this exhibition are fictional. Any resemblance to real people, incidents, or institutions is entirely coincidental. The only real thing here is the setting, the city of Istanbul." This new exhibition, The Story Unfolds in Istanbul, invites visitors to explore how this vibrant, multi-layered metropolis has been imagined, romanticized, and reimagined in Western literature and beyond.
This exhibition delves into portrayals of Istanbul in fictional works of Western literature, revealing diverse perspectives. Some authors never visited Istanbul yet offer strikingly detailed accounts, while others interpret the city through personal experiences, unveiling less-known facets of Istanbul.
İstanbul'un temsil edildiğini görüyoruz.
The collection is a goldmine for book lovers and history buffs alike, featuring nearly 300 works from the 17th century to the present day. Rare autograph manuscripts, first editions, and signed pieces line the displays. Among the highlights are Virginia Woolf's Orlando, James Bond novels, a signed book by Victor Hugo, and Pierre Loti's complete manuscript of Aziyade. But this isn't just a journey through literature. The curators take us beyond the page and show how these literary depictions have leapt into other art forms, such as film, theater, and pop culture.
For both locals and global audiences, it's fascinating to see how Istanbul appears in these narratives, reflecting the city's cultural and strategic importance.
Visual elements bring these stories to life, with paintings, film posters, lobby cards, toys, and postcards, illustrating how Istanbul has inspired artists across generations.
Creating an exhibition around books has been a challenge, so we focused on visualizing them. We also researched how these works were received in Turkey, explored newspaper archives, and found interesting clippings from different eras. It's been incredible to see how Istanbul's portrayals evolved across mediums.
The Story Unfolds in Istanbul invites us to see this city through the eyes of storytellers from across the globe, and it's open to visitors until July 13. Hatice Meryem Gelgör, TRT World, Istanbul.
For Spotlight this week, I'm delighted to say we're joined by an international best-selling poet whose powerful words comfort, heal and inspire millions of people around the world, Donna Ashworth. Donna, honestly, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us on Showcase.
Oh, it's a delight to be here.
The delight is all ours. You have 6 books now published. Your latest, Growing Brave and To the Woman. They are so beautiful, they're so powerful.
Yeah.
Why do you think that your words resonate with so many people around the world?
I think it's because they're simple. And I set out with an intention of creating simple poetry that we could use every single day, not just for worst case scenarios or funerals or weddings, but actually in our day-to-day lives that we could just open and use. And so I wanted to cut through the belief that poetry has to be overcomplicated and only for the very artistic or creative minded. So I think the simplicity is why it appeals to so many of us.
So like you say, your poetry is very accessible. You also cover themes like life in general, loss, the beauty of imperfection. Where do you get your inspiration? Is it through your own experiences?
It's absolutely everything, which is why it's so prolific and keeps coming, and I write every single day. If you have a different perspective, anything can become worthy of a poem or a quote or a piece of writing. It's just about how you see it.
So where did it all start for you? Because the pandemic was very important to you in a way of finding hope and healing. Is that where it all started with your words?
I am an overthinker. I am highly sensitive, I'm over emotional, all of the overs, and I knew this pandemic was going to be an over situation for me. I knew I was going to struggle. So I thought, what am I going to do to anchor myself? I'll write every single day. I'll share every single day. And I sort of self-appointed myself as a place for people to come every day for a little bit of hope. And it spiraled from there. I had a poem that went viral. History will remember when the world stopped. And it was picked up by, first of all in America, by all the doctors and the nurses and the universities. And then it was in the UK, it was read out by some very well-known celebrities for the NHS and so on. And Amnesty International contacted me and said, please can we send this poem worldwide to our subscribers? And that was a bit of a moment where I thought, oh, maybe I'm writing poetry. And maybe I should do it with intention now.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. To the Woman actually was self-published, wasn't it?
Yeah, and all my followers bought one. So my poems that were mostly written about womanity and being a woman and how we all come together. And it just went out of control. Women were sharing it, all organic. There was no budget, no marketing, no money. But they shared it with one another, and that's how it took flight.
There's one poem in particular that I personally love, Miss Me Most. Would you mind reading it for us?
I would be delighted to, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if I can quickly find it.
Oh, thank you very much. I wrote this poem for my boys. This is called Miss Me Most. When you feel you are without me, close your eyes. Float down beneath your skin, retreat within. I am the blood that flows. I am the courage in your gut that grows. I am the chamber in your heart that feels like home. I am the seed from which your life was proudly grown. Only my body has flown, but me, I dwell still within your bones. My voice and all the good I have ever known is yours to own. When you feel you are without me, listen close. I whisper louder when you miss me most.
Beautiful.
Oh,
so comforting.
thank you.
I think a lot of people will seek comfort in that poem alone, but these two books, all 6 of them, are just full of poems and quotes as well that, like you say, people can just read one a day.
Yes.
And they will help motivate, encourage, comfort, heal. You've created this community through social media. How special does it feel knowing that you're helping so many people out there with your words? What a gift to have.
I think about it as, isn't it wonderful that poetry is getting seen for what it can do, which is be really, really useful.
How much healing power does poetry or do words have, and why do you think that is?
Because it's directly connected to your thinking. I love the science behind happiness, and I love the science behind positive thinking, and I love the way that we can look at science and reframe our thoughts, and our thoughts directly talk to every single part of our body. So therefore words are powerful because they instruct your brain on what hormones you're creating, what chemicals you're sending out, what are you flooding your body with right in this second. So I find the whole thing absolutely fascinating. There is nothing that the right words in the right order at the right time cannot do.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you here on
Thank you for having
Showcase.
me.
I've loved every second.
Me too. It's been a total joy. Thank you.
Time now for this week's Snapshot, and the big question everyone's asking is, who will buy TikTok in America? Donald Trump has so far said he's open to pals Elon Musk or fellow billionaire Larry Ellison buying the social media app's US operations. Kevin O'Leary, the celebrity investor from Shark Tank, has also put a bid in as part of a group of investors for an undisclosed amount. And now 26-year-old YouTube superstar Mr. Beast has officially thrown his hat in the ring, teaming up with tech entrepreneur Jesse Tinsley to make an all-cash offer. But who will have the deepest pockets and be successful? Watch this space. Also making headlines, Formula One superstar Lewis Hamilton's been settling into the driving seat of his new Ferrari. The seven-time world champion's already begun preparations for his debut season with his iconic new team, which starts on February the 19th, and he says he's finally realised his dream. Also making the headlines, the concert for the LA wildfire victims. The star-studded lineup included Sting, Pink, Rod Stewart, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Good morning, little Mississippi. Papa was a copper and her mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer. Why she gotta pay when you pick the panorama? Oh.
Los Angeles!
Thanks for being here. Thank you for having me. I feel very lucky to be here. All right, let's do this.
All proceeds from the Fire Aid concert will go towards rebuilding the communities so badly devastated by the blazes.
I feel more of a sense of community post-fire than I ever have. So it's less talking about community and coming together in a way we're born to do. We're literally built to connect, and now we're living it.
And here's Esra with more Snapshot news.
Thank you, Rhiannon. The 2025 Sundance Film Festival has just kicked off in Park City, Utah. With around 90 feature film screenings, Sundance remains the go-to destination for indie cinema, attracting both filmmakers and audiences. A-list stars like Cynthia Erivo, Glenn Close, and Tessa Thompson have gathered for the festival's 41st edition, making it a hot spot for Hollywood and up-and-coming talent. Despite recent hardships, including devastating wildfires in LA, many attendees say the festival remains a place of community.
I live in Los Angeles, and I think you kind of have felt the resilience of the film community, and especially the independent film community. And so I think, Sundance is obviously, I have such a deep love for Sundance, the people, the community, the filmmakers. It really feels like a home, and when I think about Sundance, I feel like a safe place.
Jennifer Lopez stole the spotlight with the premiere of her highly anticipated musical drama, Kiss of the Spider-Woman, a gripping tale of love and survival set in Argentina, based on the 1976 novel of the same name.
I think it's what the world really kind of needs right now. It's a story about love, and it's about accepting people for who they are, and how love can kind of cure any divide. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for people to see it.
Another notable adaptation was The Thing with Feathers, which had its first screening at the festival. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, who was asked whether he prefers independent films or big-budget studio productions.
I love getting to play in a big sandpit like the Marvel films, and I love doing work like this, which carries a completely different level of responsibility and freedom as well. There's an intimacy to this that I really loved. The smallness of the crew and the intimate relationship you build up with people that you're this close to. There's often a lot of distance on the bigger movies because of all the kind of effects and crane shots and stuff.
The festival remains a vital destination for breakout films, proving that indie storytelling can shine just as brightly as blockbuster hits. And that's all from me for now, Rhiannon. Back to you.
Thank you, Esther. Well, that's it from all of us here at Showcase. A big thank you to all our guests this week, and don't forget you can catch up on all our episodes on the Showcase YouTube channel. Coming up on next week's show, we head to the world-famous Kew Gardens for a very special, very flowery edition of Showcase. Plus, we bring you all the biggest and best news in art, culture, style, and entertainment. We'll see you then.